Awesome. Well, today we have a very special guest joining us, Dr. Grace Liu. Dr. Grace is a renowned functional medicine practitioner who has made significant contributions to the field of gut health and microbiota. Her extensive background and achievements have established her as a leading authority in the world of integrative medicine.
So I'm wondering, generally speaking, if we're talking about a priority, and of course we want to individualize our medicine as holistic and functional medicine practitioners, but generally, are you treating the gut first, or will you ever prioritize maybe toxic mold illness, or maybe heavy metals if that's indicated for a patient?
Those are all really important, and I think we have data that shows everyone is affected, especially the younger someone is, right? The newer generations. And yes, those are all important. I like to go through 4 phases with all our clients. So the first phase, we kind of bring the adrenals back into line. But again, adrenals relies on gut health. If there's a lot of permeability, they're just stressed out because of the permeability. But then the permeability can't heal unless we address the cortisol and adrenaline dysregulation. So we do kind of both concurrently, but we start the adrenals, and then lymph and liver are very important. They come in during the first phase as well. So getting on liver support, calcium glucarate, if needed. Once we get the liver support on board, often people will naturally start to chelate and start some of the mold, remediation in their own body, I feel like. And then I make a probiotic, the Bifimaximus powder. The cell wall of Bifimaximus species in there, Bifido and Lactobacilli, the ones I use, they act actually as an ionic resin, just like Welchol and cholestyramine that we use in our mycotoxin protocols. And it's really important that clients are able to eventually tolerate this at a high dose. We do a gut reset protocol, which is literally 1 trillion CFU bacteria per day, which is a tablespoon of powder a day. And this literally, when people make this dose, that's the turning point. That's when their health starts to improve. They sleep through the night. Their mood gets better. Literally, they start to detox faster. Their heart rate comes down. Their oxytocin goes up. We see their heart rate variability. I like heart rate variability. It's the best longevity marker outside of, Horvath clock or telomeres. Telomeres is kind of useless. We want to really look at the physiology of someone day to day, night by night. So those are the keys that I do for lymph and liver and detox. But then we do go into mold and looking at the immune system relating to mold. It doesn't really matter how much mold someone has in their system. It's how their immune system is making IgG, IgM, and other immunoglobulins to it. You can have a little bit of mold, but if the body's just hyper alert, right, trying to glom on and eradicate the little amount of mold available, that immune system is what's holding back health because it's on hyper alert and it's just attacking everything in sight. If it's attacking even a small amount of mold, it's attacking a small amount of candida, a small amount of Saccharomyces, and even potentially a small amount of bifido and lacto, which is our own really good bacteria.
That's a great point.
And we see that a lot. Yeah, in colitis, they're allergic to all probiotics because they're allergic to their own bacteria. Yeah,
so we have to terrain.
It's the terrain and our immune system, which is 80-90% the gut, as well as the flora, small intestines where the Paneth cells are, the G cells, the L cells. Our whole immune system is the gut mucosa, the small intestines. But it's not hard to switch now. So we do the gut protocols, the 4 phases. And lately, the last couple of years, installing in the right peptides. So before I focused on antimicrobial peptides made by the gut flora, feeding them bacteria feeding the bacteria with prebiotics when it's the right time to bring it on, like polyphenols are a superfood for our healthy keystone flora. And when they're ready, we serve them something called bionic fiber, which is 20 to 40 grams of prebiotics, soluble, insoluble fiber, and a lot of oligosaccharides, XOS, GOS, FOS, all of it. Now, and by doing that, we feed them and then they make the right antimicrobial peptides. Some are circular, some are long chain, some are short chain. These are all targeted to different pathogens. Some are anti-Lyme, anti-Borrelia, anti-Spirochete. Some are anti-Epstein-Barr, some are anti-Candida. And this is why healthy people don't get sick and they don't get Lyme despite tick infections or mold exposures. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of clinicians, I think, out there think, oh, we're going to eradicate this. They think everything's going to be fine, but they're still ignoring the bankruptcies of the gut.
Huge
What
deficit.
mama didn't pass down, right? Or what antibiotics just, people love to give rifaximin. How many doctors do I see all the time just want to write that, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. Then next thing you know, client comes to me like they've got C. diff and they didn't have that originally.
Oh, I would do face palm.
I know. Yeah, it's terrible. They can die from it, from one of our interventions. Yeah. So what I love about the peptides, we use a lot of thymosin alpha 1, TA1. And that's been just totally game changing. We don't do a lot of BPC 157 peptide. It's actually because it mobilizes mast cells and histamines. It's too bad the Gut Zoomer doesn't have the histamine panel. Like nobody does, but it'd be so awesome if you guys had it because our flora is all net histamine 0. It's histamine-free species, so it's really important for the mold and SIRS people, mast cell people. But BPC 157 triggers mast cells on purpose because it's bringing in immune cells. And so even though people may not realize it, they may get worse, even though they initially may get a little bit better with BPC 157. So we hold off on that. And same with TB4, thymosin beta 4, until a little bit later when they've done some gut remediation and done the gut protocol, like I mentioned, like doing Bifida maximus at the reset dose, 1 trillion bacteria daily, which is a powder, the tablespoon of powder a day.